To get started, a brief agenda is that I'm just going to talk for a couple of minutes about the learning people and why a career in full stack web development, and then Rachel will talk a little bit about our career services, because that's I was actually saying to Stuart earlier, I think this is a vital part of the service that we provide, and that's one thing to have all of the right skills, qualification, portfolio, and so on, but actually that career support is a vital aspect of what we do. And Rachel will take a minute to talk us through that as well. And then I'm going to be talking with one of our students. The star attraction of today's feature is Stuart, who enrolled with us a year ago. And well, I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. He's looking at his first job now. So to tell you a little bit about us, so my name is Ben Allwright. I've been a coding specialist here at Learning People for almost 10 years. And in all that time, I've seen us go through quite a lot of different changes. But the one thing that has always remained absolutely constant is the need for coders. Because there's pretty much never been enough coders to fill all of the coding related roles out there. And a few years back, about 6 years ago, actually, we started a coding division at Learning People, because we'd already specialized in quite a lot of different areas like project management, IT in general, IT support, networking, cybersecurity, cloud, these sorts of things. And the coding world was something that we always wanted to have an offering for, because we got so many inquiries about it. But it was only until we partnered with Code Institute that we had a really strong offering. And that's basically what we do. I'd say if we had to describe our school in one sentence, I would say that we are a career change school. That's pretty much what everybody comes to us for, is a career change of some sort. And I confidently say that we've become very good at facilitating that change. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it for sure, but we make all of the steps available. That's basically us and what we do here at Learning People. And we hope that some of you after this webinar will be encouraged to talk with us some more. Many of you will already be talking with us, even myself or some of the other coding consultants here. So Rachel, could you please tell us just a little bit about what you do in the career services team?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ben. So with regards to career services, just giving a very brief overview of our supports. Our purpose is that we help support learning people, students become job ready. So basically navigating the job market, navigating career changes. And how we do this is we've successfully made a three-phase process that we bring all of our students through. And phase one focuses only on building your professional brand. So this is putting your CV together in a way that would make you stand out within the development space, right? So that would also be just keeping yourself in alignment and showing all of those valuable projects that you've been doing, how that's going to align with what the industry would currently need and expect from yourself. And it's just having that support, knowing that, you know, we come from recruitment backgrounds, so we're very familiar with what the industry would expect and companies look for. So this is, all of this support is done in a one-to-one presentation with a consultant like myself. And we also have Robin and Marisha, who aren't here at the moment, but, you know, we all do our best to help in this essence. And we'll go to back and forth on both your CV, on your LinkedIn, cover letters as well, if you need help and support on that. So it just makes you more confident going into the job market, because that's exactly what phase two is about. It's you going out into the job market, doing all the very exciting things, which is, you know, learning how to just direct companies, you know, networking, building and establish kind of relationships with yourself and building rapport with companies who are looking for skills within the coding space. So we give a lot of guidance about that networking piece, as Stu will be very familiar with us having our conversations on. It's an absolute vital part of any job search, especially, you know, whether you're a career changer or whether you're not, whether you're someone who's, you know, still has experience in development and maybe you're looking to broaden out. Because one of the things I highlight is that, and we all highlight, is around 30% of the available jobs in the market at any given point are the ones that are advertised. So everything else beyond that actually isn't. So that's where the networking really comes into effect. So we kind of help you to make a balanced plan where you can look at all these different strategies and understand, make sure you're being as thorough as you need to be to get those, you know, first round interviews and have those really fruitful conversations with people in industry. And then third final stage is all about the interview preparation, right? So, you know, if you need help in terms of just knowing how to answer those, you know, standard industry questions, if you don't know, if you feel 100% confident, we're always here to give very intensive preparation sessions on that. And for other things in terms of coming to the job offer stage, if you need any help in terms of offer negotiation or just knowing what's the best approach for yourself going forward in the future, again, we're happy to offer that as a team. So in essence, career services, we're here to make sure learning people students, you'd have very tailored and specific advice for yourself that is ultimately geared towards your next step in development. And yeah, that's us in a nutshell.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm sure we'll have some more stuff that you'll jump in on as we go with Stuart. So let's jump into the most important part of this is our student, Stuart. I first spoke with Stuart, it was July last year, actually, I think. And Stuart, if I recall, you were, when we first spoke, you were, I think you were delivering organs or something. I don't remember, what was it you were doing?
Yeah, so I've been riding motorbikes.
Completely different, basically.
Yeah. I've been getting paid to ride motorbikes for most of my life. So, and yeah, I was working at the hospital in Brighton, delivering blood. This is a medical dispatch rider, so anything medical, including everything. But
I think that was a job that you did for so long, I think, because you just loved riding your bike, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, and I'm getting a bit older now, so the winters weren't quite as easy on me. So so I thought, maybe I should try something else, because I'd always loved coding as a kind of hobby kind of thing. But so I thought, I really like doing this. Let's turn it into a career. So
brilliant. And was there anything else that you considered at the time, or was it just always, if I'm not going to be a motorbike driver, then I'm going to be a coder? Was it just always that kind of thing?
Well, kind of. I mean, I bought after, because the contract came to an end at Brighton. So and I thought, let's buy a van instead. And so I tried that for a little while, but no, I couldn't get on with that. So, and I thought, I really don't like this at all. So let's do something I love, coding.
And then how did you, obviously, you've made the decision at this point, I want to be a coder. How did you come across us?
I'd started doing another course, like just free ones I'd found on YouTube and things, and there was Code Academy, and there was another course. But anyway, I saw your advert. I can't remember now, actually. I can't remember how we got in contact, but I saw that there was that
widespread, so it could have been a number of ways.
There was I just saw that you got this university accredited diploma, so I thought, oh, you know what, that's got to be the best one, isn't it? Plus there was no test at the end. It's all done on your portfolio that you're creating, and you need to create that anyway to be able to get the job. So
that's a really great point, actually. So for those of you that are watching, one of the things that's really useful in getting that first job is to have a qualification that you're working towards, something that employers would recognize that has an equivalence on the EQF, the European Qualification Framework. But one of the great things about this course and the qualification that you gain is that there is no exams. It's all based on the websites that you actually build, the projects you build as part of your training. And that's a very attractive thing with employers too, because they know that you haven't learned how to pass an exam or anything, you've learned how to do a job. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's so popular with both students and employers. Okay, and I think when we first spoke, it could have been a number of different providers that you went with. What ultimately kind of caused you to enroll with us?
I think, I don't know, was it is this the only one that has the diploma with it? I'm not sure, but
yeah, so we're partnered with the Code Institute, and they have some other partners that they work with, but we're their main one. And
but I think also it was just because of you as well. I spoke with you, Ben, and I think we spent about maybe 45 minutes on the phone, and you just getting to know me, and it just felt like I'd spoke to other companies before, and they just sounded like a sales company, just repeating the same script over and over again. But when I spoke to you, you sounded genuinely interested and wanted the best for me, and then you invited me on the 5-day coding challenge.
Yeah, so actually that's another good pickup. So for those of you in the audience that you might have got to that stage with us already, it's hard to know for everyone, but the coding assessment is the best way to figure out if a career in coding is definitely going to be the right kind of thing for you, especially if you haven't done any coding before. And for us, it's a really important step because it gives you the opportunity, even if you find it easy, it gives you the opportunity to show us that you meet at least a minimum level of competency, so that we know you're going to be a great student for us and you're going to be great for a career in coding. So it's because it's such a practical skill set, it's one of those sorts of things that you want to know before actually signing up to anything. Okay, and Stuart, how would you describe your experience with us and Code Institute over the last year?
It's been really good, yeah, especially with learning people. The only two people I've really interacted with is you really at the start, and Rachel when I've been sorting all my career kind of stuff out. And you've both been fantastic, by the way. And especially Rachel for getting me that job.
No,
but
let's talk about that actually.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we're essentially jumping ahead a little bit there, but that's the main thing, right? Like, can you talk me through a little bit of the kind of things that Rachel's gone through with you, and how she was able to kind of guide you into getting that job? And then tell us a little bit about the job too.
Okay, so probably after my third project, I'd first contacted Career Services, and then Rachel replied, and we'd been going backwards and forwards with emails. She's telling me how to improve my CV. I could take it back, and she tells me how I've done it wrong again. And, things like that. And she checks everything. She's brilliant. They check for all the typos. They make sure it's all in the right format, so that when the employer gets it across their desk, they don't just throw it out straight away. It's turned out just absolutely brilliant, and I keep getting phone calls now from recruiters and things like that.
Yeah, that's so good to hear. So tell us a little bit about that first job.
Okay, well, I went for 3 jobs really, and I got through to the interview process on all of them. And so just before I'd go through the interview, I'd be emailing Rachel, or we'd be on the phone, and she'd be walking me through what I should expect, because the recruiter would have told me what to expect at the interview, and then she can tell me from her point of view, this is the kind of thing you need to do or prepare for, and things like that. So it's really essential having her, really, just because she's like my own personal cheerleader and life coach,
that's what we're here for.
Like in the cartoons when that little angel was on your shoulder. That's what Rachel was like for me. It's so nice.
That's so sweet.
It's a vital part of what we provide. I think it's one thing having everything you need, but that process of actually being successful in getting yourself out there and getting interviews and job offers and stuff, like, it's difficult these days. It's more than one thing that you have to do. And the career team, I'm constantly impressed with the level of detail and just effort, honestly, that they go through to get our students jobs.
So it's two-way street though, because to be fair to Stu, like, you've been absolutely exceptional. So like whenever we'd have feedback, that's one of the things we look for is, somebody who's like wanting to engage and like make sure that, when we're having our chats, it's like going back and like doing CV in the right way. And like, to be fair, like, you've always been phenomenal. So like, it's hats off to yourself as well. You're the one having to juggle everything. I'm just here to support. Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange because as being self-employed for so long as well, I've not really had any experience with proper interviewing and things like that. So it's been a completely new and green experience for me. So having an expert with me along for the ride has been worth all the money that we've paid for this course. So
I'm glad. Let's talk a little bit then about anything that you might have struggled with, because I like to try and keep these things as realistic as we can, because it is a lot of work to put in over the course of a year. Would you say there's anything that you found most challenging?
Most challenging, probably just, for me personally, maybe just staying motivated to keep doing things every day, to keep coding every day, and logging on to the Code Institute website to just to go through their lessons. Sometimes it can be, we've heard of death by PowerPoint. It can be a bit like that sometimes, but you just gotta. And sometimes I'd go through the same video or something 12 times, and I'm like, why can I not get this? But
there's always days like that when,
yeah,
particularly when learning a technical skill set, there's always going to be days when you might as well be learning Greek or something. Like it's just not making sense.
or Irish.
Yeah. Stuart, did you spend much time with the tutors or your mentor?
Yes, not so much. None with the tutors though.
None at all with the tutors.
No, I've not really used those.
That's incredible. That's like one of the major resources.
Yeah, but with the mentors, but I usually just find the answer on Slack.
Yeah.
The mentors I used were basically, for me, I just used them just to check over everything and just to make sure that I'd pass, each checkbox on the on the requirements for each project, just to make sure I'd pass, and see how I can improve it. Sometimes I've used them as a bit like a senior dev, junior dev kind of relationship. But for the most part, it's mainly been on Slack, and the other students, we just all help each other out. And
everyone always says they love Slack as well. Like just having students talk to each other and sharing ideas and answer each other's questions. And I'm always impressed whenever I look on there and see the kind of the level and the depth of conversations that's being had between students. Is always really nice to see. Okay, and you're starting a new job next month, I think you said,
in August,
with the HMRC. What kind of thing are you going to be doing there?
I'm going to be working on a project called Making Tax Digital, working for a company called Atos. Okay. That's who's employing me. So that's good. And I'm just really proud to have been offered it, really. So
it's a great company to work for as well. And is that, what will be your title there? Is that full stack developer or something else?
Let me just check. Yeah, full stack developer.
Awesome. I hope you don't mind my asking, but it's one of the big things that comes up when we talk with people, and probably for those in the audience as well. But what was your starting salary?
It'll be, including the annual bonus, it'll be 33,000. Yeah, they've told me the second year as well, which will be 38. So that's goes up pretty fast. So that's pretty good.
That's good, guys. So I guess they kind of see your first year as like a training year kind of thing.
That's right. Yeah. So the first 12 weeks, they're sending me on a course which is costing them £12,000 as well. So I'll be learning Java and Spring Boot and a lot of other stuff as well. So,
that's incredible. So I'm sorry, I've got to touch on that real quick. So you haven't even finished the full stack course yet.
No.
You offered your first job paying 33 to 38,000, and you don't actually have all the skills that they want, so they're going to teach you.
That's right.
If that doesn't scream out the fact that there are not enough skilled coders out there, I don't know what does.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah. It's really good. I was going for three different jobs, and I got offered two of them, including this one, and the other one I pulled out of because I'd already accepted this other one. But the recruiter for that one said I was the front runner for that job as well. So
incredible.
So it's been a really good, and that's all due to the career services and Rachel and
I was just being filled in on this. I was only being filled in on these particular ones, but I know for a fact that absolutely you're a front runner for the other one. Everyone was quite heartbroken in the other company as well, but they're obviously wishing you the best luck. And I think it's phenomenal. It's great to know that you have the training program as well. That's amazing. Such a good opportunity. New languages to learn.
And I think the course has helped with that as well, because they know I've been on a course for the last year, that I'm already in that right frame set to be able to jump into another course.
Amazing. And Stuart, I hope you don't mind me asking it also, but can I ask your age? Because that's something that comes up a lot too.
Yeah, 43. Be 44 in September. Yeah.
Right. So like we get a lot of students, like in their late 30s, or I mean, even a lot younger than that. And even they're wondering, am I too old to do this? And we've also got students into their 50s. But my point is that one of the things that comes up a lot is, am I too old to learn to code? And I mean, you can probably answer that question best, but I think no, as long as you're willing to learn it, then you can, and you'll get a job too. It's about, you know, in our experience, at least, I haven't found many employers that would care about the age of their coders, or, you know, gender, race, or otherwise. Like they really just need people that can do the job.
And I think it's a plus point as well, because you've got all this other experience, all these other jobs and transferable skills that you can bring to interview, and especially customer service type skills that you'd have picked up, you know, during the whole life of, you know, working somewhere else. You know, you could be doing anything. You could be sweeping the streets and have this amazing way of talking to people, you know. And that's a skill you can transfer, and that's what they like as well. And it helps, and it does help with interview as well, just being able to talk to people. I think this role that I'm going for is a graduate role, and I imagine the other people who had been university students wouldn't have had any experience at all in their working life, because they've just come straight from uni. So that's been a plus for me, for having that, you know, I don't know, a personality that can. Excuse me.
No, can definitely. Oh, bless you. No, I can definitely vouch for that 100%, because I think, you know, at the end of the day, a company would love to see somebody who's. It doesn't necessarily matter if it has to be in coding at all. Like, as you were saying, you've built your rapport over the years with your customer facing skills, and that's like crucial to any group. So I know for a fact, even from my recruitment days, you know, that was never an issue. What like age someone's at, as long as you're willing to put in your work and bring, you know, good camaraderie and good, you know, skills to the team, then that's it really.
So look, I'm conscious that I could talk to you for probably another half an hour, Stuart. I love having these conversations with my students, but I think it'd be good if you could you show us one or so of your projects?
Yeah, no problem.
So I think that'd be a really cool thing for the audience to see, and for people watching the recording as well. It'd be a great thing for them to see just the kind of things that you've been working on, and because it's these things that would have played a part in you getting that first job as well.
Yeah, so here is.
So what is this?
This is it's basically an inventory management system for a game.
Cool.
It's a space game. I created this for my last project, my fourth project, which is basically using Django. So it's a web app. And I've made it so for mobiles, because the users who will be using this app will be using their computer to play the game, and, you know, so it's so and how can I say it quickly? Really, it's quite complicated, but in this game called Star Cities, and one of the gameplay loops is that you can buy and sell commodities, and so you fill your ship up. So let's say you go somewhere, you fill your ship up, which is a freelancer. You buy some laranite, and you want to buy 600 units. You just press buy, and then it'll get listed in this down the bottom in the list, and then it'll tell you. It'll just keep track of your profit up the top here. So if we then go sell this laranite, it'll tell you I've made 2,000 profit. You know, it's just silly, really. But
it's a good example of the fact that you could make an app that is financially based, or a web app that is financially based for your employer if they needed you to.
Yeah, and this is like so simple on the front end, but on the back end, I mean, it's like an iceberg, really. All we're seeing here is like the tiny little point, and just a massive, you know, mammoth of code going underneath. Which is, so this is one of my proudest projects. But I only received a pass for it. Here's it looks in the web browser.
Right.
But yeah, I've got this other one here, which is Connect 4. Let me just load that up.
Oh, fun.
This is
Love Connect 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my Python project. It was my third project, and I got a distinction for this one. So
great.
it was really good. Say, I'll just run
I
it
love
through
Connect
quickly.
4 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a new take on it. So this is the scoreboard you see in here, and then it'll go onto the actual game board, and then I got to choose a column to put it in, and this is my own version of Connect 4. So level 1 is there'll be it's 12 wide, and then as you go up the levels, it shrinks. So I can place my counters into somewhere, and then there's an AI to try and stop you from winning.
I try and beat you.
How did you develop the AI?
Oh, just lots of hard work, really. I had to it just detects every single move. It detects where my counters are,
right.
And then it so let's say, like, if I was in column 2 and 3, it would put his in column 4 to try and block that end, and then I'd put it in. It detects if there's 2 at a time.
Every outcome, like every possible position.
Not quite. No, it just checks if that's. It's like a object base, so it will check if that square is free, but it also checks if the square underneath is free, because otherwise it would just drop through it. So it's quite. It's hard to explain, and plus it was a few months ago that I created it, so,
okay.
so I can't remember everything. But yes, this is really good. I really love it. Yeah. I'll just play a bit now. Oh look, it's got me. It's got me already. That won't let me win now.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing these with us, Stuart. I really appreciate that.
No worries.
So I guess one final question, and then I'll jump into the questions that the audience have left. But there's people in the audience and people that are going to watch this recording that are considering careers in coding. What advice would you give them?
I'd say just try it. I think you can.
Just good advice.
Just try coding. You can start. If you've got a notepad, on your computer and a web browser, you can code something, can't you? That's all you need, really. You don't need any special software or anything like that. And all the software you might need can be downloaded for free, using VS Code and stuff. There's millions and billions of YouTube videos, and so I'd say don't get bogged down watching too many of those, because there are thousands of them which say, this is why you should learn this is why you shouldn't learn this, and there's billions of opinions on either side as well. So it doesn't really matter, does it? You just get started with a language, and that, if you can prove that you can write something in any language, then you can write something in any other language. It just takes a bit of learning. It's all kind of the same, but also all a bit different.
That's kind of why I think our coding assessment, the code challenge, has been so popular as well, because for those that haven't done any before and are just a little bit cautious, because there is a little bit of stigma around it, isn't there? Like, a lot of people think you have to be a maths genius to be a coder, and I personally don't think that's true. I'm a fairly decent coder, and I'm awful at maths. So and I think the code assessment, it just gives people that little taster to, is it something that you want to do? Is it something you can do? Something that you're well suited to, that you'll, possibly enjoy even, it's, if anybody in the audience hasn't done the coding assessment, I'd say get in touch, and at the very least you can have a free go, basically. So let's have a look at what questions we have from the audience, and I'll endeavor to answer them, but somebody said bromance. Thank you. Just sure. So how many hours per week to study doing for how long, Stuart? So I can tell you that the Code Institute, the Full Stack Web Development Program, is 600 hours. And to get that done inside of a year, you need to do roughly 12 hours a week, more ideally. I assume that's roughly what you've been keeping up with, Stuart?
Yeah, some weeks I'd be doing it full time, and then some weeks, I'd only do a couple of hours, but yeah, so on average, probably between 12 and 15 a week for sure.
Perfect. So I think it's worth noting it is a big commitment in terms of the time that's necessary to complete it. But I can tell you this much: I'm yet to meet somebody that regretted making that investment in time for the kind of careers you go on to have and so on. So it's well worth it in the end for sure. Another attendee has asked, how much coding experience did you have before starting the course? That's a great question, because I think you're a little bit of a hobbyist beforehand, but no formal training.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, self-taught. I did a project in 2018 called 01vps.net. It's still out there. I don't own it anymore. But that was a project because I was just doing a hobby with some cryptocurrency and master nodes and things like that. And so I found a problem that people were encountering, especially people who were not so tech savvy. So then they couldn't install their own master node. So I wrote something very simple, like a bash script that would do all the things, input all the commands for them. And then I created a whole website around it, and I made it a little business, which helped. And then I sold it at the end, which helped pay for my wedding in Florida. So
you're like, woo.
yeah.
Okay, and another attendee has asked, so can you drop the diploma? I'm sorry, can you do the diploma at your own pace, or are there deadlines for projects? So Stuart, you can probably answer that, but yes, there are deadlines for projects. It is at your own pace, but based on how many hours you can reasonably put in, they will set deadlines for you to complete those projects. Yeah, like Stuart, would you add anything to that? I think it's
that's it. Yes, you can do it at your own pace. There are hard deadlines which you need to meet. I missed the last one because I got the date wrong. It was just stupid on my part, but
we managed to arrange you more time for that one, didn't we?
Say again?
We managed to arrange you more time for that one, I think.
Oh, well, yes. So if you miss the deadline, they give you 10 days to submit again, but then you're capped at a pass instead of being able to get a merit or distinction. But I put it in a few hours late. I submitted it a few hours late after I emailed them and asked them for, compassion, because it was a genuine mistake. The date was the 30th. It was meant to be in, and I thought it was the 31st. So I just assumed it was the end of the month, and no, I was wrong. So, but they told me as long as I don't, edit the GitHub anymore, from what I'd done, then I could submit it. So it was okay.
So I think like the answer to that is kind of yes and no. Yes, it is self-paced, but yes, there are also deadlines. So you have a project that you need to complete by a certain time, but then how many hours you put in daily and how quickly you actually complete that project is completely down to you. And that's also something that you should start getting your head around anyway, honestly, because that's what it's going to be like in the real world. Like with any job, there's going to be a project that you're working on that has a deadline, and you need to do it by that time. That's kind of us kind of trying to help you prepare for the real world as well. Okay, I think we've had some other questions come through. Let me have a look. So Ken has asked, what are the benefits of getting certified in full stack development as opposed to just a front end or back end? That is a great question. And guys, feel free to jump in with this, but I would say that a full stack developer is one person that does both of those things, and as such is more useful, more valuable to an employer. And that person will have the wider variety of jobs available to them, not to mention with a broader skill set, their career will move forward more quickly as well. So yes, you can do just front end or back end, but I would generally advise that if you can, and you're taking the time to learn a course anyway, then learn both. Would you guys add anything to that?
No, I think I was going to say, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think I don't know how you could do front end without knowing how the back end works anyway.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there are jobs that, I mean, you'd have to learn a little bit,
Yeah.
I think, at least. But yeah, there are jobs out there just for front end, but they're certainly becoming fewer and fewer, and most roles kind of blend, kind of mix over these days, anyways. Okay, Pippa has asked, what is the demand like for junior developers, and how do I find out where to get the best jobs? Where the best jobs are, sorry. Well, that's probably something you can answer, Rachel. So what's the demand for junior developers? I mean, I can tell you that's very high, but how do you get the best jobs?
Yes. I was about to say, I was like, I feel like we can all answer that one. It's huge demand. And what I would say in terms of how to find the best jobs, well, like, to be honest, there's many different ways, when we're starting out, like it would probably be looking at, the job adverts that we see online. But as I was mentioning before as well, those only represent like 30%. So one of the things that we focus on when we're starting to get into phase two, just on the applications and how do I find the best jobs, is we really kind of go into the networking side of things. Because maybe if you're new to the industry, it's going to be something where you've found companies or a particular industry sector in mind that you'd be interested in, but you're like, how do I approach, these companies? I'd love to work for them, but I can see that they've done things in the past, and we'll kind of guide you into networking in those spaces, because that's where you're ultimately going to find the jobs that to you consider to be the best jobs, because everyone will have a different version of what best means, whether that's like they're working with the best technology, whether it's like a team that excels, whether it's a company that's going into really interesting projects that they like, but ultimately networking, that is going to be key to find all those undiscovered potential opportunities. Yeah.
I mean, in short, you don't need to worry about getting the best jobs, because Rachel will do it for you.
Yeah, we're going to work together. We're going to work together to find those roles. Yeah.
Okay, we had another question come through. How much it will cost me, and is it payable by installments? Yes. So this particular program is £7,000. It's about average for these sorts of things. And that, yes, there's so many payment options available. I'd say if it's something you're really thinking about, then just get in touch with, you've probably got a consultant here already, somebody that you're talking to, but you could ask them about that. And just to give you a rough idea, we can split that cost up over as many as 60 months, interest-free as well. So that's 5 years. Like, it can be very affordable if need be, but I'd say it can be a little bit of an individual thing as well. So just have a chat with one of our consultants here, and they'll be able to talk you through exactly how it might look and work for you. Another question is there much availability of part-time work once qualified? I mean, yes, I know a lot of our students have got part-time jobs, like working from home or freelance work, even part-time. Rachel, would you, I mean, you can probably answer that better than I can. Is there much demand for part-time?
I was just going to add on that idea of freelancing. Like, I think that's becoming a huge initiative where, if people, again, they come to their networking and they see that they look in their local communities, or they maybe look, to the nearest towns, and they think, are there companies where maybe I can even, offer a couple of those hours per week where I can hone on my development skills, but I can be offering something of value to those around me. No, absolutely. I've seen many students who've kind of focused on that in a part-time, and then they'll bring it full-time then whenever they feel fully ready to kind of take that step. But it's always very valuable, and plenty of roles to do that with. Yeah.
Excellent. We've had another interesting question come through, which is, actually there's two now, Francis. So we'll start with Francis. He's asked, what is the differences between a full stack developer and a software developer? So a full stack developer, fairly specifically at least, refers to somebody that's building out entire websites and web applications, whereas a software developer, I mean, it's an umbrella term. So a software developer is basically anybody that is coding any piece of software. It could be websites, apps, games, data science projects. It could be just about anything. So software developer is a very broad term, whereas a full stack developer is more specific to web development and web apps. So another question is, are you coding with others or paired with others? Or is everything done on your own? Yes, occasionally I know of many students that have worked together on projects before. And I do think that the Code Institute they actually do occasionally pair students up to work on projects. Stuart, did you have any kind of experience like that?
Yeah, so every single month they have a hackathon which you can
Yeah,
join.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're put into a team of around 5 or 6 or 7 people of varying different levels, and yeah, and you work as part of a team, and that helps massively as well at interviews to be able to say that you've actually worked, you know, in a team working on a project to come up with something. My first one was really good. It was like this what was it? It's like it was called a retro gaming hackathon, and we had to make a computer game out of nothing, which was, it was brilliant. Yeah. And I've been friends for the whole of the course with that team from my first one last August. Yeah.
I know, like so many of the students that, like, you'll be a member of that Slack community there, like for the rest of your life. Like you can always go back there and talk to people on there, and it's really nice. I sometimes see students that passed like years ago that are still fairly active in there. So it's yeah, great community to be a part of. Other questions from David. And they've asked, I'm fairly inexperienced when it comes to networking. Is it important for a career in coding, and do you offer support with this? That's a really easy one for Rachel.
I've been advocating this the entire conversation.
Mentioned it a few times, yeah.
It's just a few times. I am a heavy advocate for networking 100%. It would, like, especially if you're new to the space, right? So like if you've gathered a couple of years, you'll probably start to know, you'll know developers as time goes on. So it'll be easier to find those opportunities per se. But like, especially if you're new, networking will be crucial, because you're getting to know not just people and understand their opportunities and what jobs, but also just in general, like you're building relationships with people who would be able to share insights with you, share information. So in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's very important, and we of course give help with this. So like, if you're new to it, you feel uncomfortable, don't know what to do, we kind of take it step by step. So we're happy to kind of make actual structured plans together, where we can then review it once a week or once every 2 weeks, just to make sure that everything is keeping on track and giving you the results that you ultimately want and need. So, yep.
Great. Thank you. That's
amazing.
Networking. Much networking. Rachel, thank you so much for talking through that and joining us on this webinar today. And Stuart, again, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us today. We will watch your career with keen interest. And for everybody who's watching live, and for all of those that will be watching recording on our YouTube channel later, thank you so much for spending time with us. Continue to engage with us. If you're thinking about a career in coding, it's exactly what we help people with. So get in touch, and we can see if the way that we do it is right for you, in the way that it was for Stuart and so many others. So that's us signing off. Thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.